Hey everyone, I thought I would make a video that shows you exactly how you can take advantage of John Tornblom's bdj-sdk along with the bdj-1250 project to build your own custom ISO images that automatically loads a hen. Now, in this example, which kind of blew up today, this I used PS4 hen, but you can easily swap this out with GoldHEN, and I'll show you an example of doing that with GoldHEN today. Now, it's taken me a whole ton of time and research in order to figure this out. So if you want to throw a few bones my way, then I'm going to leave a few links there. Now, in order to get started, there is a couple of URLs you're going to want to take note of. The first one is the official BDJB project here. You will be reading through this, at least some on your own. I'm going to get you completely up and going, but it's always good to know where that's at. You will need, if you're planning on using GoldHEN, to grab the latest version from his Ko-Fi page. And then if you do want to use PS4 hen, then you will need to go to the releases and then just go ahead and grab the hen.bin. Now, the other GitHub, just to keep a note of here, is going to be John Tornblom's bdj-sdk. That is what is behind the bdj-1250 here. And then the last thing that you are going to need is going to be PS4 Explorer 2.0, because I just find working with files a bit easier. Again, you can optionally use FTP, but we're going to be doing this in this video. Next up, on Windows, you will have lots of problems if you do not do this step. And that is that you need to have a working folder that Windows is not monitoring. So go to your virus and threat protection, and we're going to go over here to Manage Settings. And then we're going to scroll down here to Exclusions. And as you can see, I created an exclusion over here on my D drive, PS4 working. Now, if you do not add one of these in here, if we go back over here to Home, Virus, and Threat Protection, and then Protection History, this is what it will look like. And as you can see here, looking at these dates, you can see that it took quite a bit of time for me to figure out that you needed to do this. After you have completed that, go ahead and open up the Microsoft Store. And we're going to do a search here for WSL, which is Windows Subsystem for Linux. Just go ahead and grab one of these. It really doesn't matter, and get that downloaded. And then once installed, if you are looking for this app, if you go to your Windows Start menu and type in Ubuntu, it will pull up from there. Okay, so when you first launch Windows Subsystem for Linux, it will ask you to give it a username here as well as a password, which I've already done. And so your screen should look just like this. From here, we're ready to go ahead and get set up. We're going to begin by updating all of the packages that are currently available. And we're going to do that with sudo apt-update and then press return. You will need to enter in your super user password. And from there, as you can see, it is going ahead and downloading everything that we need, and it is complete. And now what we're going to do is we are going to run these commands right here, which is part of John Tornblom's bdj-sdk. So let's proceed with running this next command right here. So back over here in our window, we're going to paste that command in there. And we are going to select yes here, and just go ahead and let that finish installing. And we'll just continue working through that list of commands here with the git clone. And here is the first Java SDK reference. And here is the second one for Java 11. We now need to run our make command here. And these warnings are very normal. We've got another make command here. So let's press enter. And then finally, we have our last make command. Okay, so if yours looks like this, then you are in good shape. Next up, let's go into the bdj-sdk directory. So we'll do that, and we'll press enter here, and we're going to do an ls-l to show all of our samples. And now let's go into our samples folder here. And as you can see, these right here are the samples that John Tornblom had. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add the source code for bdj 12.50 here. And how we would do that is going to be, we're going to do git clone and then the repo that contains the 12.50 jailbreak, and then just press enter here. Now again, we'll go ahead and do an ls-l, and you should see a folder here which is bdjb1250. Go ahead and cd into it and do another long listing. Now at this point, we're going to want to move a few files around, and I think it will be easier doing this in Windows. So let's just come back over here and let's go explorer.exe and then do period. And that will bring us to where this instance is running inside of File Explorer. Now, the first thing that you are going to want to do is to come into the bdmv folder here, double click on it, and then go into bdj0, take this file right here, and then just go ahead and copy that. We're going to need to paste that inside of the SDK. So from this point, you can go back to the bdj-sdk right here, and we need to go into resources, and then avchd, bdmv, and then bdjo. And what we're going to do is we are going to select the existing one in there, and we are going to press delete, and then we are going to paste our new bdjo file in here. And this is one of the missing steps that most people were not doing. The reason that the original one didn't work was that it used an org.homebrew.myexlet, whereas the bdjb uses org.bdj.initexlet. Next, the secret sauce in getting this to work is that there is a line right here that you have to change from false to true, and this is located in the source org bdj initexlet.java. So let's go ahead and fix that. We're going to go into samples, and then we're going to go into bdj1250. From here, we're going to go into the source folder, and then org, and then bdj, and right here is the initexlet.java. We're going to right-click that, and we're just going to open that up with Visual Studio Code. Once opened, we need to scroll down to about line number 61 here, and from here, we're going to change that from false to true, and then we're just going to go up here and give that a quick save. Okay, so head over to your PlayStation 4, and we need to get 2 files off of the hard disk. So I'm just going to use PS4 Explorer here. So we're going to go ahead and get that loaded up here. And even though I am on 12.02, these files will work regardless. So we need to scroll down here and we need to go to System EX, app, and then we need to scroll down here and we need to go to npxs 20113 and press X. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and go inside of bdj stack, and we're going to locate the bdj stack.jar down here, and we're going to put that on a USB drive. So you can go ahead and press triangle here, and then go send to, and if you plug in a USB drive, you will be able to select USB 0. Okay, I've already copied mine over. We've got one more file that we need to get. And that is that we need to go up one directory into lib, and then we need to go and grab the rt.jar, and we're going to need to do the same exact thing where we copy that over to a USB drive. So you should have 2 files once completed, one called rt.jar, and then another one called bdj-stack.jar. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to our computer. So back over in our project, we're going to go into the target, and then we're going to go into lib, and right here is where we're going to go ahead and we are going to paste the bdj-stack.jar as well as the rt.jar that you downloaded from your PlayStation 4. Okay, next up, I did find that you need to set a couple of environment variables in order to get this to compile. And so where I am at is where I have installed the bdj-sdk, which mine is located right here in the home mbcrump bdj-sdk. So the first thing that you will need to set is the bdj-sdk home to wherever your bdj-sdk is located. And again, mine is just located right here, which I showed you here just a little bit earlier. The next one here is your Java 8 home, and this should not change. This should be perfectly fine on your computer, so just go ahead and add that one in there. And if you just want to verify that it's set correctly, you can run this echo command here, and then I made another one for Java 8. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back into our samples folder and then bdjb1250. And we're going to begin by running this command called make clean. Okay, so it will look like that if it does complete. If yours doesn't have anything coming back, that's okay, because this is the very first time that you're building it. We're going to go back into our bdj-sdk folder here, and we're going to run the make-c command on samples bdjb1250 and press return. Okay, that looks very, very good. Now, sometimes it's not going to work, and here is an example of one error that I got. Makefile line 71, multiple target patterns, and then stop. What I found is that Windows sometimes adds some of these identifiers that it is good to go ahead and delete. So we'll go into resources and go into where one typically is, and that is this one right here. So anytime you see these .zone identifiers, always get rid of them, and hopefully you can get past your error. Okay, and so let's go ahead and make our laps.jar file with a make-c on samples, bdj-1250, payloads, and laps, and press return here. And if yours looks like that, then it looks wonderful. Let's go ahead and open up Explorer again to begin taking a look at these. So the very first thing is going back inside of samples and then bdj-1250 and noticing first off that there is a remote jar loader.iso, which you could burn to a disk now. This is exactly the same that is on the GitHub. But then if we go inside of payloads and then laps, you'll see that we have just compiled our laps.jar file. Now, do note that the laps.jar file is only needed if you are planning on recompiling the project to work with GoldHEN and or PS4HEN. If you already have what you are looking for, well, you can just stop the tutorial here. But I'm going to go ahead and show you all how to get this working with GoldHEN. Let's go ahead and from here, right-click it, and then just go ahead and copy it. And then we're going to go over to bdjb1250, and we're going to go into source, org, bdj, and then right here, we're going to right-click, and we're going to paste. And from here, we're going to go ahead and give this the name of payload.jar. Now from here, in order to load GoldHEN automatically, what you would do would be you would take this jar file, and then you would just come in here and just extract it to the payload directory. And then we can come right up here to payload, and we're going to go inside of org, bdj, external, and then right here it is called all-in-one fix_usb payload.elf. So now, for example, if you take the very latest version of GoldHEN and you go ahead and grab the goldhen.bin into this directory right here, what you'll want to do is come up to the all-in-one fix_usb payload.elf, and we are going to grab the name on this, and we'll just go ahead and take this existing one and delete it and press yes. And we're going to rename that goldhen.bin to USB AIO fix_USB payload.elf and press return. and we do want to change the file type. Now from here, we're going to go back up to the payload directory, and we're going to take everything that we just had in here and we're going to zip that up. I'm just going to use 7-zip and add that to a payload.zip file. Once complete, we're going to right click on it and then copy it. And then we need to go back into our source org bdj folder and go ahead and paste. Now there will be an existing payload.jar. We're going to come right here and remove that one and say yes. And we're going to rename this other one from payload.zip to payload.jar, and then we're going to come up and remove this payload folder here. Okay, so if you have done all of that, then we are ready to recompile. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back over to bdj-sdk, and let's go into our samples folder, bdjb1250, and let's type in make clean. And so that now has removed all of the existing files that we had. I'm going to go ahead and go back into my bdj-sdk folder. And then from here, we're just going to run a make-c command on samples, and then bdjb1250, and then press return. Okay, now it looks like that has completed successfully. So if we go back into our folder for bdjb1250, you should see that we have a brand new ISO here called remote jar loader. I'm just going to go ahead and rename this to remote jar loader with GoldHEN, and then I'm going to just copy this to a working directory inside of Windows. I've just loaded up that remote jar loader with goldhen.iso, and I'm going to go ahead and burn that to a disk. Okay, so over on my PlayStation 4, before we run this disk, I am going to come in here to the payload.bin inside of /data, and I am going to delete it here. And so we'll hit yes on that. And so now let's go ahead and reboot and give this disk a shot. Okay, let's go ahead and give it a shot here. And there we go, BDJ Laps 1.2. And right there it is, GoldHEN 2.4 B15 is loaded up. So this ISO works exactly as desired. And we'll go ahead and go back to our main menu here. And then back over in the menu here, right there is GoldHEN. Well, anyways, I hope that this helped some of you out there. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Michael, out!